Comics. Yes, it's Kingdom Comics. How's it going? And we are live. I'm live on YouTube. So I've been messing around, feeling inspired. I've been taking a little break. I've been taking a break from the Archangels project I'm working on, but not taking a break entirely. I've been working on some other stuff. I just got inspired to do something else. I wanted to kind of show just an exercise. It's kind of almost like a manga style little thing I did. I I've always wanted to do like a little fantasy type comic book. With this idea for this guy right here, I did like a character sketch. Yeah, I just a loose one, you know what I mean? But basically, so you can see it's like a barbarian. And, but and it's metal and leather with buckles and big metal studs and everything like that. Uh, and I did kind of a sketch of a monster, and it's like a saber tooth type monster. It's gigantic. Seems small as compared to it. So I did that. So then started the cover. All just very loosely sketched out. So there he is. You it'll be like issue number one. You'll issue number one right here in the title, and there he is at the cover. Basically, very rough sketch. I've already just rough sketched this out. So then you would turn the page. I started drawing on this page by accident, but that would be the inside of the cover. And here he is. He's you see him jumping. You see him basically jumping down, and he looks like he's like thousands of feet in the air or something. But then you turn the page, you see him. I just basically out. I did all the. This is how you do a comic at first, unless you're. I mean, unless you're really good and you don't need to. I do mannequins basically. Then you see him sliding down a slope with rocks and everything and dust, kicking up rocks and dust. Then you see him get to the edge of a cliff and just he dives right off. There's a river. He's like hundreds of feet in the air. You know, kind of like when John Rambo jumps off the cliff into the pine trees, which a lot of people don't know this, but Sylvester Stallone, to his credit, that guy's got, I don't know if he's crazy or stupid or maybe he's really smart, but he really did that. He really jumped off that cliff into those pine trees, and then that wound that he has on his arm is a real wound, and he really sewed up the wound, and that is all real from what I'm told, which is crazy if it's true. But yeah, he just dives off the cliff. So then you see him falling through vines and trees and grabbing vines. There's one of them snapping. Then you see him swimming, right? Then you see him way up in the, not right high, but he's way up in the air. The vines going on into the trees and the river. Into he falls in the river. I'm not working on the environment. I'm just working on the. Oh, I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah. So he basically slides down a slope, dives off of it. There's like trees and a river down there. he snaps through a bunch of vines and branches. He's reaching out, grabbing a vine, right? Then he, then he swings, then he swings through whatever, and then he's way up in the air again over the over that river, right? And then he lands, and then and here he is coming out of the river, right? He's hunting some beast. He's hunting basically a giant saber tooth like type creature. So so I did that whole page, or I did those pages. So I did all that in one day. Then today I got up, inspired some more. So here he is sleeping in a tree, right? And then he hears a snap or something like that, a twig break. So he looks over. He's like, oh, sees a dark, sees a dark hooded cloak figure, right? Here's the cloak figure. You see it with a bow and some arrows, bow and some arrows. And then you see him walking on the branch. He's like he's trying to find out who's stalking around with a bow and arrow. And then he jumps down. Uh, he jumps down something like a silhouette, the branches and trees and leaves and everything. This one's really hokey, but it's wicked hard to draw. I might have to take a picture of myself, uh, you know, to get the anatomy. And then they recognize each other and they know who they are. And he just, and then it's this chick right here, basically, with super big boobs. That I'm working on, and I'm gonna get even more. This is gonna be super cartoony. I think I can already see that she needs to have even like a thinner waist. She's got to be like super cartoony. You know what I mean? Gave her even thinner waist. A bigger butt. I'm working on it. So probably so anyway, yeah, I just thought I would hang out and kind of share this little project I'm working on. This is me taking a break from drawing, and what am I doing? I'm drawing. I felt like I've been working. It's like, man, I've been working on that other thing for weeks now, like a few weeks. The archangels, and I needed, you know what I mean. So I to tell you the truth, I was watching. I'm getting her down a little bit more and more. But yeah, she's getting there. She's getting there. So I'm gonna make it super cartoony style. Like I'm talking like '90s, Rob Liefeld type stuff, even probably like the inking style and all that. I'm just gonna hatch it all out and make it super exaggerated. Like this guy is gonna be huge. Like Prophet, number Prophet in the '90s, that type of stuff. You know what I mean? That's what it's gonna be kind of like that. I'm not finishing this now. I'm just starting it. What I'm gonna do is every time I take a break from that for a day or two, I'm gonna work on this. So, and for a long time, if you watch my channel, I've been messing around with like fantasy stuff. I, I was showing how to. I was doing an example one time of how to draw pages with multiple action scenes going on with multiple figures, like battle scenes, and it was like a fantasy thing that I was working on with multiple characters, and this is kind of like almost already the same thing. It's like a barbarian and a hot chick with a bow and arrow, basically. So, yep, that's me just drawing and drawing and drawing, and then when I'm like tired of drawing, I draw some more. So what's going on? It's Happy New Year, I guess. My house is like the uh my house is finally coming together, and I might have a tenant for my downstairs, which will be cool because then I will be able to devote, like, I won't have to worry. I'll be able to do comic books, even for, I'll be able to do comic books basically, and I won't need to make very much money at all, which will make it cheaper for you guys. I'm trying to provide cheap comic books you know, that are um entertaining and well written and well done though, you know what I mean? Like, and the more time I have, the better the art can be, but either way, the art is like, okay, like, if you look at a lot of like Rob Liefeld and one of his like proteges, I'm trying to Michael let me try to find out here. Let me look in my history. Let's see if I can find it. Hang on a second here. Yeah, I can find this. Just gotta find the guy's name real quick. I think his name is Platt. Yeah, I think his name is Platt. Stephen Platt. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be quite as outrageous as him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be exaggerated, but it's going to be kind of like that, just '90s, blown out. Like 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 some of his artwork is like, I mean, I have to say, like, some of it's pretty questionable. Like, the eyes are like way far apart and all this stuff. Yeah, it's definitely a Stephen Platt that I'm thinking about. But it's going to be kind of like that. It's going to be like a barbarian type, fantasy type thing. But anyway, yeah. So I just thought I would get on here and show that and see if anybody was out there wanting to hang out, chat. Comic comics. So Wonder Woman was a failure. I'm hearing. I haven't heard anybody say anything good about that movie yet. And I heard some of the things that went on in that movie, and I can see why people were disappointed in it if the things people were saying about it is true. And I don't know, man. Uh, seems like I guess DC and Marvel are cutting. They're like they're like firing a bunch of artists or something like that and cutting, and I guess DC is cutting a whole bunch of titles monthly that they used to. I'm just it's just it's not, it doesn't look good. Didn't Is Jim Lee like leaving DC too? Like, it's like, what the hell is going on in mainstream comics, man? And I don't know, man. People just don't seem to care about comic books anymore, really. And I it's too bad because I mean, that you got your really hardcore devoted fans, but uh, I really liked comics especially when I was younger. I'm more interested now. Like, I almost don't want to buy. I don't buy too many comics myself. Although I've backed I think three Indiegogo projects now because I'm out for trying to change the market to make it more so that, like, so that smaller comic book creators like myself can get in on the action and not have to go through Marvel, not have to go through the mainstream. And so basically, I've spent like basically $25 on one comic, which I've shown them. I'm waiting for Eric Ninatowski or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm probably totally mispronounced his name, but I'm waiting for his Century or whatever it is. I'm waiting for his comic book to come now. It's the last one I backed, and I'm probably I want to start supporting Mike Miller, so I'm probably gonna back that. I'm probably gonna back uh Ethan Van Sciver's Rainbow the Brute, or yeah, Rainbow the Brute or whatever. Probably gonna back that. Probably gonna back. I'm basically backing in these artists now that are doing their own projects and that are ca- carving the way for, like, indie, independent and independent comic book creator, like, because now they're gonna see projects on Indiegogo, you know what I mean, and they're gonna be like, oh, here's this independent artist, let's all support him or whatever, or her. And and that is just going to basically create a whole new or just it's gonna be a more of a free market, like actual real free market, which we have not really had in this country. I would have to say almost never. I don't think we've ever really had a free market. I don't know if the world's ever had a real free market, but it definitely um, you know, it makes it so that you can support who you want to support without having to support the what's that word? The anathema that basically Marvel and DC, that all these giant, the big three or whatever everyone calls them, have become. They're like is that the word for it? Anathemas. I might be. I don't know. You have to look up that word. I might be misusing a word, but yeah. Look at this dude, Mike, or Stephen Platt. Great shit though. He's got very manga hair, which I'm gonna do that, and I'm not copying him. I'm copying like that. That was like a manga. Yeah, I'm proud. My guy's hair. It's not gonna look quite like that, but something like that. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of manga, pointy, sticking up, pointy, black hair like that. Yeah, I'm not gonna draw. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I will be that blown out with the legs and the arms. We'll see. Basically, the dude that I'm drawing is huge like that. Yeah, he's huge. Maybe, we'll see. I'm looking at some of his stuff now. Look at his. Is that like Captain America? It's like he's like ridiculously huge, man. Oh my god. Some of it's just. I mean, without his inking style, to save him is just really bad. The anatomy is just so bad. But it doesn't matter. Like, this is the type of stuff that, and I'm telling you, man, this is when comics were just awesome. Here's the Creech by Capullo. I have the Creech. That pisses me off, man. I wonder if I can find issue number one of the Creech online on like eBay or something. I don't think I have the Darkness anymore. I wonder if I can find that. I should start trying to find some of these old '90s comics that I had that my mother. You know how it is. You move and you leave your comics home, and then your mom throws them out. You know how it goes. How many people? How many times have you heard that story? I hear it. I hear it. I still hear it all the time. Still hear it all the time. It's like mothers against comics or something. Moms don't give a crap about comics. Some of those comics they throw out could like pay for their kids' college education. Some of those collections they throw out. I'm telling you. Wow. Who's this guy? All right. So anyway, back to my. I'm like lost in comic world now. I'm looking at. I started out looking at pictures from S. Platt. Now I'm like on Twitter looking at some other guy's artwork. It's pretty cool though. There's so many good artists out there. Why aren't they doing comic books? What's this right here? That looks pretty tight. All right. All right. So I guess unless anybody's got anything interesting to say. Hey, what's up, Lucifer Storm? How the devil art thou? Uh, I'm doing good actually. Just hang on one second. I don't want to do this on here. I'm like drawing as usual. I'm drawing as usual. Check this chick out, man. It's just a rough sketch. It's just a rough sketch. It's not done. You know what I mean? I basically drew this. I think in about, we'll say 5 minutes. This probably took me 5 minutes. Hey, how's it doing? So anyway, yeah, just got. I'm just showing some manga style artwork I'm doing. That's kind of like Stephen Platt a little bit. The spiky manga hair, but he's gonna have armor though. Uh, uh, and we'll see how far I go in the muscles. But right now, I mean, look at that arm. You know, his arm's bigger around than his head. You know what I mean? And then I got him. And then I did just a very quick sketch of this of him fighting a saber tooth. And then I did this cover. This is sketching it out. I actually inked this just to kind of get an idea of what the inks of what it would look like, and on and on. He's like jumping off a cliff. Thank you. Look at this. He's coming out of the water. Just stuff like that. This guy, he's a monster hunter, and and he meet and this kind of like his girlfriend right here. They meet up from time to time, kind of like Conan the Barbarian and that chick that he hung around with that died actually. Remember, he made a pact with the gods, like basically. Conan was red. Thank you, Lucifer Storm. I'm getting ready to do an Indiegogo project. I'm gonna change a few things already that I've. But the cool thing is keep it down, man. But the cool thing is digital. Digital. This is the cool thing about digital is these pages I'm doing. They're wicked good, but once I scan them and get them in the computer, then I can do whatever I want with them. Oh man, look at the snow coming down. I'm glad I already walked my dog, Bronson, man. Walk, buddy. Yeah, it is a blizzard out there all of a sudden. Hang on, just let me look at this, man. Yeah, it is a blizzard out there all of a sudden. So anyway, yeah, I don't care what anybody says about digital if that they don't like it. It's just another tool. It's just another tool, man. That's all it is. And especially like I think that you can use you know how many you know how much it like when you're learning how to do this stuff, uh man, you waste so much paper and ink. If I was more confident, oops, yes, if I was more confident and knew more what I was doing, I ruined so many pens correcting my mistakes with whiteout, then having to go back over the whiteout with the pen, and you put the pen, even if you let the whiteout dry, it doesn't matter. That whiteout just ruins pens, right? I mean, they still last quite a while, but I mean, it beats them up a lot quicker than it would than normally you would beat them up. It clogs them up and ruins them. So my point is digital. I almost want to like beg my parents or maybe beg my my YouTube audience of 100 people to everybody throw in like $3 or $4 and like buy me buy me a Wacom Cintiq or whatever, like a good one, like a $700 one or $600 or $700 one, and then I won't, and then I can do what? Then I can mess up and be like, oh, just undo it and whatever, and just what, and it might, and it will not only improve my my artwork, I think I won't be just so disappointed when I mess something up because I wasted a bunch of money and supplies. It's also, I guess, environmentally friendly, but it will also be training me to like when I do want to do something traditionally, because you really can't beat traditional, man. Like there's nothing like actually doing on a real piece of, with inks and everything traditionally. But point is like I think I will know more what I'm doing. Like I will learn quicker and take less time and stress and all this shit that you got to go through when you ruin a piece traditionally and you got to like start it over. You know what I mean? And just it'll make me better. It'll make me doing it digitally will help me learn what the f I'm doing, so that I will be better at traditional inking and all this stuff. And that's why yeah, dude, man, I'm gonna what's I want to use I basically want to go with Jimmy Reyes's setup, which I think he uses whatever it is he uses. He developed a whole pen set for it. That's a good idea, man. Where are the sponsors? Where are the sponsors? Because where are the Christians? Like, not I'm not trying to make this a religious podcast, but what I'm trying to say is where are the Christians with their money going, hey, we need to compete and we need to compete in the market and and put out good moral stuff that is seductive, you know what I mean, and turn people over to the good side. Where are they? What are the Christians doing? Are they're like afraid of entertainment or something? Because they let all the it's like they let all the bad people take over entertainment, who then use the entertainment to like brainwash their kids, man. And to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, Lucifer Storm. I want to get one. I should call my parents tomorrow and beg them. I should be like, Mom, Dad, listen to me. You need to listen to me. And I should pull the whole, that whole, if you buy me this one thing, you'll never have to buy me anything ever again. I was gonna ask him for one for Christmas, but I couldn't bring myself to do it because they just gave me a car. Well, they didn't give me a car, but they're letting me use their car. They put me on their insurance and all that stuff, and they're letting me use they have another car, obviously, but they're letting me use it as if it were my car, so it's pretty much my car. So I was like, oh, I just didn't have the heart to ask him, man, because my other car is just disintegrating, man. And like this whole COVID thing, I'm not unemployed, but I was on unemployment, and then that went bye bye. And but my old employer he gives an F about me, so he still lets me come in like one day a week and work for like 5 or 6 hours just to help him because his business isn't doing very well either. I do give my money to Christian artists, but I meant like a tablet maker gives a tablet and you have to pimp their tablet to your videos. That is an example. I'm not quite sure I understand what you're saying. If you want to explain yourself more, that's fine. If I could get my hands on a Wacom Cintiq, I don't want one of the ones. I don't want one of the ones where you draw on. I want one of the ones where you draw on the screen itself, because I don't want to sit there. Uh, you know what I mean? Doing it like you know what I mean, on a pad or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I want to do it on the screen. I want it to be at least 13 inches, at least a 13-inch screen, right? So I don't know. I'm probably looking at like six, seven, $800. You know what I mean? I don't know how I'm going to get that kind of money right now. If there's another stimulus, there's not. I'm pretty much well all set up with food and water, water filters, food, ammo, everything that I need right now for quite a while. I could live if the supermarket shut down tomorrow. I could live off of the food I have for probably a year. You know what I'm saying? If I fed other people, maybe 4 or 5 months, but probably a year. And uh, so maybe if there's another stimulus, I'll spend it on a Wacom. I'm thinking I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna drop the money on a Wacom. Yep, I'm gonna go digital. I'm not afraid of digital. I don't. Wow. So blizzarding. It is a blizzard out there. I really like this page, but already I wish I tilted this panel the other way, and I can do that digitally. I tilted this panel this way. There's a crack in the door. It's like tilted this way. I want to rotate this way because then it's opposed. So here's these two pages next to each other. Maybe it doesn't even matter that much. I don't know. But this but this panel here is tilted this way. So I wanted to tilt this one this way because I think it would make, I don't know. I think it would make it look a little better. Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty tight. I still got to do some hatching in here. Uh, but yeah. And I think I'm going to have him. I'm going to shift some things around digitally, like, but it's pretty much going to be the same. I'm not changing it, but I think I'm going to turn. I don't know. I want to make it more clear that he's shooting water. Like he's basically he can shoot water like bullets, basically, and so so I think I'm going to take this panel, put it in the middle, and then have him fight basically something like this panel, put it in the middle, and then have him instead of where he's transforming, I'm gonna have him still looking like this and firing water from his wrists right here. Then I'm gonna take this. Then I'm gonna have him getting blown away in this panel, and then I'm gonna have him flying in this panel down here. But it's all still gonna be the same. I'm just changing the order of things. I just want to make it more clear that he's getting shot by this guy. Then so that's how that's gonna work, I think. But pretty much it's gonna be the same. Then I'm gonna leave this the same. Like he'll be transforming, and then here he'll be fully like uncloaked. So, it's not bad. I've gotten a lot better, man. This water throwing it out, but if the water, like the water, explode the him bursting out of the water, uh, man, I think I must, dude. I had white out, dude. I had white out all over everything, all over my fingers, and it was bad. And that's how you ruin your pens. And then I was like, I gotta research this. So the best thing I could find were like World War II, or basically military, basically picture photos of military blowing things up in the water and shit like that, and bombs going off in the water. Uh, uh, so, but this page right here, I'm probably gonna do this tonight. I'll probably be up late tonight. I don't know, or very early in the morning. I'll be up. But this page right here, um, like these guys are cool. I'm either going to call them the cybernoids or the weaponoids, or they might be a sect of a group called the cybernoids, which are like they're like embrace all the technology and they don't even care, so they become part human, part machine and shit like that. But they're like kind of neutral. They're not on they're kind of neutral, and the weaponoids do a lot of mercenary work and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They'll just work for the highest bidder, basically. So the archangels encounter them a lot. and they're gonna kill. Or I don't know. I might not have him kill. This guy might not die because he's kind of cool. I might want him to hang around. Like he gets shot in the eye with a smoke grenade, and they maybe you know what I mean, and maybe they think he's dead, but maybe he's part machine, so they don't know that he's dead, and like he turn and I'll have him turn off later. You know what I mean? And another, pretty much everyone in this room is in this. All these guys right here are pretty much getting wasted, pretty much. So uh, they're they're like watching them and listening to now. They're like watching them and listening. They're watching and listening to them through the door, basically. It's pretty cool. That's how. I mean, if I had color, I don't even think you need color. Like you can pretty much tell. I mean that they're using some kind of like thermal vision or something like that. Just black and white. I like black and white. I don't think that. I think like black and white with just color covers, like Conan, like the old Conan comics by like Kubert. Was it Kubert that did the old Conan's? Joe Kubert or something like that. Um, I think like it was either Kubert or Casada, one of them. Uh, like you know what I mean. I used to read Conan black and white, man. Color cover, like color cover. Sometimes it would be like a Frazetta cover or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? Like a nice painted, like oil painting. You know what I mean, or something like that. Sometimes, and then black and white interior. You know what I mean? You don't need color, and color, dude. If I can get away with making black and white comics, uh, I can lower the cost significantly for people. You know, hey, Spider Man, awesome! Spider Man hopped in. That's awesome. Thanks, Spider Man. You rock. Thank you, Spider Man. The cool thing about Spider Man is the I'm a huge sucker for black and white books. If I had my way, then all of my books would have been in black and white. But some stories do better if they have color. No, color. I mean, I have, I'm not like that's the thing is like a really good color is awesome though. I can't debate that. But I'm saying like I don't need color. You know what I mean? I can get away. I mean I can not get away. I can live without color. You know what I mean? A color cover would be nice. You know what I mean? Because black and white cover is like, eh. You know what I mean? But so a color cover would be nice, and then black and white with maybe some colored pinup art here and there or something like that would be cool. But I don't need color. I like black and white myself. I don't know. We'll see. What? I don't. I'm not a pro, so I don't know. Like, I don't know the how do I say this? Like, I don't know the ins and outs like of working of drawing. What like when you? I know that I've heard. I know that when you know your art's going to be colored, then you can skip certain details like shadows and stuff like that. But when you draw black and white, you know what I mean? You can't like, you gotta like indicate everything that you want to indicate has to be indicated with ink, like, you know what I mean? So so I don't know. I'm trying to I'm trying to do my work. I'm basically trying to do the artwork so that a colorist could come in like later, like if and color it, you know what I'm saying? And not have to correct. I don't know. I'm not a pro. I wish I were a pro, man. I'm trying to achieve pro level um status through unorthodox means, which is doing independent comic books, and that's really tough. That's really tough, man. Because you can say what you want about the mainstream comic book industries, but they have a lot of really good artists, pros, basically professionals. If you make money on your art, you're a pro, and I have made money on art, so I am kind of a professional, but not like a regular, for do it for a living professional. So, but people have paid me money to because people do know that I'm a good artist, like one of the best artists around here. I'm one of the probably one of the best comic book artists. You know what I mean? There probably are. I think I've heard there's pros that live right in Pittsfield. They're not real um boisterous about who they are, but I think there are pros living right here in my town. But so I might not be the best, uh but yeah, if I were my point being is if I were a professional, then I would be able to basically work with other professionals like and get help and tips from them. You know what I mean? They could let them critique my artwork and be like, "Hey, this is what you're doing wrong, Stuart." And you can continue to do it and be stupid, or you can take my advice and get better. You know, what I mean? Or something crazy like that. But I don't have that. I don't have a pro looking over my shoulder. I do want to like I do want to pay. I want to pay if I had more money. I would literally approach some of these professionals and be like, "Hey, I'll make it worth your time if you just Skype with me for a half hour." You know what I mean? I'll pay a few $100 or something like that. Just for a half hour to sit to go over my art, like the stuff that I'm working on, and just give me your because I okay, like you could say like, oh well, a pro doesn't want to, people, nobody and tell you how to do how to like basically tell you how to do your projects or whatever. But if you look into it, there's like the Joe Kubert School of Art. If you can't afford to pay tuition to go there, they have an alternate program, and if you might want to look into this. I mean, I don't know if they still do it. They did do it, but they have this like okay, they have their courses on like DVD or something like that, and if you buy the DVD sets, uh, um, then you what comes with it is basically you get to do the projects and you send it into the school to their staff, and they take a red pen and correct. They draw right over your artwork, you know what I mean, with a red pen and show you like what you did wrong and what they and how and how it would be more, you know what I mean? Like, your shading should have been here, you know what I mean? Light source, whatever, and and your composition would be a little better like this or whatever. You know what I mean? They literally correct like a teacher would correct your homework with a red pen, basically. I don't know if you've ever if you've ever looked into that, but that type of thing would be cool. Hopefully, you get the hint of like what you're doing wrong, and you don't do it anymore. I mean, I have a friend that went to the Joe Kruger School of Art. I should have went there. I really should have went there. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't have. I don't know. I really should have went to the Joe Kruger. I've said this before in my podcast, like, and sometimes I say the Joe Quesada School of Art because for some reason, I guess because both their names are Joe, I get them mixed up. But um, uh, my friend, his name is Jeremy. He was my friend, I guess an acquaintance, somebody that I knew all my life in school, right up till high school and graduation and whatever, on and on and on. They yeah, they went there and they were, we used to do little comics. Well, I didn't do as many as they did. It was my friend me my it was my friend Phil, who was one of my best friends and I'm still friends with. And then this other dude, Jeremy, who we were kind of friends, I guess, you know. Uh he was in the comic books. He was more in the DC, I was in the Marvel, he's like a really good artist now. Like every now and then I'll Google his name. You know what I mean? And I'll like find him on the internet and I'll check out what his most recent stuff is. But he's professional. He lives in New York. I think he lives in New York City and uh, is married and is a professional illustrator now. And you can oh, my point was is the stuff he was doing in high school was not very good. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't very good. I mean, neither was mine. We were all pretty shitty art. We were imaginative and creative, and some of the stuff we did was pretty cool. But we were horrible comic books. But he's a professional now. So the Joe Kubert School of Artwork or of Art is of comic art or whatever it is. The Joe Kubert School is where it is. If you're like 16, 17, 18, you're watching this 13 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Comic book artists go to the Joe Kubert School. Do whatever it takes. Take their courses that I just was telling you about. Like buy their DVDs. You know what I mean? Do that's the way to go. If you want to learn how to, they will turn you into. They will most likely at least get you to the point where you can do it professionally. You might not be the new Todd McFarlane or something like that, but you can probably get a job doing it professionally. You know what I'm saying? Like you will be that good anyway. As much as I think the art is important, it's also like not important. You know what I mean? Like, I think if somebody has a really good idea and they're not the best artist, but they are an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever. And I think if somebody's not the best artist, but they have a really good idea, you understand what I'm saying? And they get it out on paper and illustrate it and make a book, why not buy it? I mean, buy it. You know what I mean? Because why? Because once they make some money, they can pay a pro to come in and work on it and then really bring it to life. But the thing is like um you know the reason okay, like here's my thing against, like, people will be like, oh well, we don't want to make it so that just any Joe Schmo can be a comic book artist. Well, first of all, that's not going to happen. Second off, there's there there's only like there's only so many legendary comic book artists out there, and they can't work and they even get bored. They'll come in and do a title for a little while and everyone's like, yeah, and they'll buy that. You know what I mean? They'll buy those. All of a sudden, you're like, no, I'm definitely buying this now because Mark Silvestri's doing it or whatever. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And okay, well, here's the deal. those people can't be on every project all the time. So so the point is sometimes you got to make an exception for the art a little bit, in my opinion. You know what I mean? If you want comic books, if you want a lot of comic books. I'm just constantly setting stuff down. Oh, here it is. Okay, so then there's the issue of like, okay, like I can't, like I'm purposely doing cartoon type styles. Like I can do realism. There's Jimi Hendrix right there. Like I can do realism, right? I don't have the time and the money right now to do like a whole realistic comic book with like okay, see this machine gun? You know what I'm saying? This is very stylized with the muzzle, the muzzle flares. It's all very very high stylized. You know what I mean? And so but my point being is like, if I had more money, I could go research, and I could literally even travel around and find, go to get pictures of real 50 cals and all that stuff. Find the military, find out where the military is going to be doing demonstrations, and because I know that like they'll go around to like high schools and let these high school kids fire 50 cal machine guns and stuff like that. Because they want to entice them into the military. Like, yeah, you're going to get to fire machine guns. But the point is, um, you know, with more money and time, you know what I mean? Because I'm a single guy, and I'm not, a family man. I would be able to travel around and do, uh, and basically, uh, you know what I mean? Get, basically whatever I wanted to illustrate, I could find and take pictures of for reference and stuff like that. And then, you know what I mean? And basically, because say what you want, you're like, oh, I don't use reference. Yeah, baloney until you got to draw a 50 cal machine gun, because if you, because if you 50 cal, there's no way to draw a 50 cal machine gun except to draw a 50 cal machine gun. You're not gonna like even this one that's cartoony. You know what I'm saying? I still looked up pictures of 50 caliber machine guns on Google. You know what I mean? On the tops of Humvees with like armored plates in front of them. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So like, my point being is I don't have the time to do tons of super cool detail, and you know what I mean, to render, you know what I mean? So I'm purposely going with like a kind of cartoony, kind of maybe 90s style, you know what I mean, more 90s or 80s type style of artwork. Uh the hell was that? Did you guys hear that? I heard a noise. I don't know what it was. It sounds like something fell almost. Unless it was over in the, I don't think it was at the neighbors. I don't know. That was weird. I definitely heard something. It sounded like it came from out in the hall. Weird. Oh, hang on. I don't like smoking cigarettes. I probably shouldn't be on air while I'm doing this. How long have I been on? So I guess the big question is, am I going to get a Wacom? How am I going to get a Wacom, you guys? I have about $100 to my name right now. How am I going to get a Wacom Cintiq? If you guys know a way, maybe I should try to buy a used one. Can you find them used online? Should I look on eBay for a used Wacom? I don't know. We shall see. I'm looking out the window right now. There's snow everywhere all of a sudden. And it is coming down. My dog's sleeping. Look at let's show you this guy. I want to get one. I've wanted one. I've kind of wanted one for a while. You know what I mean? Because look, I went and bought art supplies the other day. Oh, they're 14. I bought two. Look at that. I got more erasers. These are the best right here, man. I'm telling you, these are the best. They don't get dirty. You know why they don't get dirty? Because they just crumble up and they disintegrate basically as you erase with them. They basically disintegrate. Now these white ones that they sell, these white ones that they sell, garbage. You know what I mean? Look at that. See that? So I was like, I started erasing with it. I was like, oh, awesome, it's working. And then it says here, gum. It's called a gum eraser. I don't see anymore. I'm trying to find erasers. There they are. I should know where they are because I don't want to get broke. It's General's gum eraser since 1889, and yeah, these ones. Look at see how dirty it is. So I was, you're erasing and you're like, oh, it works pretty good. And then all of a sudden you go to erase and a big dark smear of pencil lead just goes right across your picture. You know what I mean? So you got to constantly be like, it's like you almost have to have a surface. Look at, I can't even get that off of there. You gotta keep your eraser clean, but with these, nope. It's just gonna disintegrate. Yeah, yep. These white ones, I don't like them. But yeah, and everybody knows about these, the kneaded erasers. It's not, I don't really even use this as an eraser. I use it like to clean up or you basically like you would with putty, that silly putty when you would pick up an image off a newsprint with it and be like, you know what I mean? Same type of thing. Like, you know what I mean? You just basically you pencil your thing out And then so you don't smear your pencil all over the place, you know what I mean? You take this and you just press it down and it picks up the excess pencil and it lightens up your pencils so they're not so dark and whatever. And then you can go in and do more detail if you need to without getting pencil smeared all over the place. Or you can ink, over your but these are the things to get right here, and they fall apart and break. Like I got two of them, and they basically one of them has already broken in half, so I got two halves. I mean, it's not they basically, that's the thing about them, is they break up and fall apart. Like pretty soon, I'll have nothing but like four or five little pieces of these things like this big, you know what I mean? And the pieces just get smaller and smaller, and you're like, till pretty soon you're holding like a little crumb in your hand, and and then it's like, oh, time to go to the art store. I'm running out of eraser. But yeah, these things work really good. So 2021 probably going to be worse than 2020. Okay, 2021 probably. Yeah, to get the dirty. That's not a bad idea. Is just slice it right off, I guess. F it, right? That's a good idea. Thanks for telling me. A sharp knife, though, is what you're saying, huh? Or a razor blade, maybe a razor blade or a carpenter's blade. Um, you know, ox cutter type thing. There, you know what I mean? The sheetrock knife or whatever might work a little better. I'm gonna get some coffee. I'll be right back. I'm gonna stay on for a little while, I guess. Okay. So if I beg my parents for a Wacom, you think they'll buy me one? They're not broke, but they don't have as much. It's not like the '80s when they had my parents were doing well in the '80s. My The cost of living was really low, and both my parents worked, and they were both making. My mother was making like 25 or 30, and my father was making like 50. So between the two of them, they were probably pulling in like 80, 75, 70 to 80 grand a year, somewhere around there. And they bought thank God I had good parents. They bought a lot of property, so I'm living uh in a it's not a house, but it's a condominium, but it's not, as you can see by the walls, you know, this paneling's from like the 70s or something, you know what I mean? But but it's like an old colonial style condo because okay, like, back in the day there were, in the in the late 1800s, not colonial, I don't want to say colonial. This house is from like the 1800s, but early America, like over 100 years ago, basically. Earlier America, not super early America either, but like the 1800s. In the 1800s, in this area, the Northeast, there was a lot of textile type like things, and uh there was like textile industry, and then there was a lot of like uh I don't know, there were basically mills all over the place. And across the intersection from where I live, there's a mill that's been there, probably a textile mill where they made like cloth and clothing and stuff like that, clothes. And because we didn't get all our clothes from China. You said I doubt it. You said I doubt it. They might not. That's a lot of money, but they're very supportive of, like, they've seen these last, like, I've been showing them these pages I'm doing now, and they're liking them. You know what I mean? So they're being very supportive, and I'm telling you, you think these pages are good now? You think these pages are good now? If I scan them and put them into a Wacom, forget it. They'll get ridiculous. They'll improve. Just the pages I've scanned have already improved like incredibly. But I'll just be able to sit there and play around with them and do whatever I want and not have to worry about, oh, gotta go buy another pen, gotta go spend another $13 on or $14 on pens. But uh point is this house, this building, it's not a house. This building was built by four or no, five families that worked at the mill over on, right across the street. So they all chipped in and built a big effing house here. So, and raised their families in them. And so my parents bought, okay, in the early or in the mid 80s, mid to late 80s, somebody sold one of their, uh, somebody sold one of the apartments. My parent, it was, and they sold it. This is the 80s, right? They sold it for like maybe 18,000, or maybe or 12,000, something ridiculous, like $12,000. So my parents were like, and they bought it. And then my sister moved in there. Then sometime in the 90s, one of the neighbors who I probably didn't like my sister, they sold theirs and moved out, and my parents bought it. Then the one that I'm living in was an old man named Charlie, and he was a good dude. He was a gardener. Like, basically the soil in my yard is top notch soil, and every summer all kinds of beautiful flowers that I did not plant just pop up everywhere because he planted perennials, I think they're called, all over the big rose bush, but I cut it down, or I moved it out back. But um, point is he um died, and unbeknownst to he liked my father. He met my father. My father's a good dude, and he liked my father so much that when he died, he put it in his will to make sure that my father got the first bit, or to pretty much make sure that my father got this place because he knew that my father and my mother would take care of it and appreciate it. So his kids, when he died, just said, "Go ahead, make a bid. We don't need it. We all got our own houses and our own families elsewhere now." And so my parents bid, like, I think this is the one that was $25,000, and they said okay. And so my parents got this spot. So now my parents own uh um oh yeah, it is four. I'm sorry. It's a four. It's not five. It was four families. So my parents own three out of four. My family pretty much, and my nephew's living in one, my sister's living in the other one, and I'm living in this one. And then and then the neighbors are, then the neighbors that I keep talking about. I got neighbors. They're between me and my nephew. So essentially, like, my family owns the whole spot, essentially. And so I'm pretty much set up. And my point being is that the downstairs, my family, it's just my family's, I'm like my family, because my family's so tight. But my whole family's really helping me out right now because they know I'm in a tough spot. And uh, so my parents are refinishing the downstairs. Like, not they're not they've already refinished it, as in like carpentry and new sheetrock, and jacking up the floor. The floor was falling in. My kitchen floor was literally falling in, like the whole kitchen sink and everything was like dipping down. Dipping, like if you spilled water on the floor, it went right down under the kitchen sink, like there was, like, it was rotting out and falling right in. And so my parents came in, and and this is when I was married. uh they came in and they hired a kid that does a lot of carpentry for them to, like, jack up, go down and reinforce everything and jack the floor back up, and you know what I mean, and like, put supports, like reinforce all the supports and everything. So uh so basically, but now, right now they're coming in with paint, and they bought a new stove and a new washer and everything. And what we're doing is I'm going to live upstairs, and we're going to completely repaint, uh, all the, walls, all the trim, all the ceiling and everything, and clean re you know redo the floors a little bit, like, clean them really well, and then the dirtier area, the worn out areas that got a little dirty, sand them up a little bit, and then refinish them probably, but not completely, just patchwork. But the point is and I think by March I have somebody moving in to the downstairs, so hopefully that's going to go well. And if that goes well, then I will be able to get a Wacom, because I will take a little extra money here and there from their rent, and I will put it away. And within 5 months, I can buy a Wacom. So probably summer, by summer, you know what I mean, by mid to late summer of 2021, I will order a Wacom. One way or another, I'm gonna get one. So the story goes. There's an organization called uh Daffy Dis DAF Disabled Artists Foundation. They help low income disabled artists get supplies. Oh, I'll look into that. I'll tell them I'm disabled in my head. Yes, I'm disabled in my head. Can you help me? I'm I have PTSD. I have PTSD. I went and got a checkup from my doctor, for a yearly checkup from my doctor. A couple, was it like, I want to say it was like it was, what's today? It was like Wednesday. So, oh, it was like the 29th. It was the 29th. And, I had to fill out all this paperwork and these questionnaires of like, do you think about killing yourself? Are you depressed? You know what I mean? Are you lonely and depressed and do you feel helpless? And you know what I mean? Do you, just on and on and on? And I was like, no, 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 none of that. Like, I don't ever feel that way. I mean, I feel bad if anybody does feel that way. I don't feel that way ever. Oh, am I disabled? No, not really. I mean, sort of. I'm 50 years old. I can't work. Yeah, like, yeah, my body's starting to get old and not function properly anymore. I mean, I have a hernia operation. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not disabled, like, paralyzed but I'll tell you what, man, like I have back issues, lower back issues, sciatica. Uh, as I said, I've already torn my guts open basically, and I have that patch. You know what I mean? They went in and they had to patch my stomach up because my intestines were popping out, stuff like that. And I'm unemployed right now. All right. So I've been on for long enough. I think it's time to go. Hour and a half. All right. Thanks for stopping in. Until next time, this is Kingdom Comics.